I'm often asked how I made my first million, and I think I want to break it down for you today and give you a good understanding of the steps that I took so that you could understand them yourself and take exactly the same steps that I did. So if I go back into my past history of being a salesperson back in London, back in that was the late 80s, what happened is I was selling, but I wasn't selling something that made enough money for me to be, or commission, for me to be able to earn $1 million, but I was kind of hell-bent on being a millionaire. And so I then in 1993 joined the financial services industry, which meant I was earning much more per sale than I was before. And by earning much more per sale meant that there was a possibility that I could earn $1 million in a year. And that was my kind of like my focus, how I made my first million. And so I remember when I made my first million, that was when I was 26 years old. When I had my first million in the bank, I was 28 years old. So let me show you the steps I took and see if you can follow them too. So the first thing I needed to work out, okay, was there a product, okay, that was going to enable me to earn enough commission per sale? And when I was in financial services, the average commission per sale was around about £5,000. That was the average commission. Obviously there was more and there were less, but 5,000. So in order for me to earn, okay, £100,000, I needed to do 20 deals. In order for me to earn £1 million, I needed to do 200 deals. And on the surface of it, that seems like a lot, 200 deals. That's a lot of business. But what I worked out is what the strategy would be. So I realized I needed 200 deals. And so I stopped focusing on the money and I just focused on the deals. I took 200, okay, and then I divided that by 50 weeks. And dividing it by 50 weeks, including 2 weeks worth of vacation, that meant I needed to do, okay, 4 deals per week. So that's in my mind what I had. So 4 deals per week equaled 5,000 times 4 equaled 20,000. 20,000 a week times 50 weeks equaled $1 million. So I knew what I had to do. The question was it possible? So then I had to look very carefully at diary management. I had to look very closely at my ratios of sales to prospects, of prospects to suspects. And remember, this was in the 90s, so we didn't have the same technology that we have today. So in order for me to do that, I needed to look at my diary. So we had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I worked out how much I could do. So 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 6 o'clock were the time slots I could put in my diary. And if I multiplied that by 5, that meant that I would have 25 meetings in my diary per week. If I had 25 meetings in my diary per week, could I convert 25 meetings to 4 deals? Well, I knew that I could. I knew my ratio, okay, of prospects to deals was 3 prospects equaled 1 deal. So I knew that was my ratio. So I needed to see 12 prospects to equal 4 deals. And everything I did around this time was looking at these statistics. I became obsessed with data. I'm so consumed with understanding how the numbers worked. I got away from the amount of money and got into the data. When I got into the data, everything then started to become possible. So 12 prospects a week meant, okay, that I had to do 4 deals from those prospects. Fair enough. I had 25 slots in my diary, which meant I could definitely fit them in, for sure. If I could see 12 prospects, on top of seeing 12 prospects, I could convert those 12 prospects into what I used to call second meetings, which I do a first meeting and then a second meeting to close the business off, okay? And as long as I converted enough of them, if I converted 12, okay, into 6 second meetings, that meant that then 4 deals was going to be possible. So that was very easy for me. And all I then focused on was how was I going to get 12 appointments, 12 first appointments, 12 first prospects in my diary every week. And that's all I focused on. Now, 12 prospects a week meant I was either going to have to do just over 2 per day, okay, 2.2 per day, or I could do some on Saturday as well if I wanted to. But I just became consumed. And so I would try at the beginning of the week to get as many prospects in as possible and focus on getting 4 or 5 in at the very beginning of the week. And then my average out throughout the week, if I was getting 2 a day, would mean 12 would be seen. But that's what I focused on. So every Monday morning, beginning of every day, my focus was finding new prospects, finding new prospects. So that had 2 alternatives back then. I had cold call or cold prospects, and then I had referred prospects. i.e. people that have been referred to me. And when you get referred prospects, your conversion ratio is much higher. So I knew referrals were gonna be the easiest way for me to earn my million. I knew referrals were gonna be the easiest way for me to get my 4 deals a week. So I became obsessed with every different way possible to obtain referrals from everybody that I could come in contact with. Literally everybody. So everyone I met, I asked for introductions, I asked for referrals. I had different presentations and different pitches that I used. I wouldn't do business with somebody unless they were prepared to refer me, because to me that meant they trusted me. And to me that meant that they understood that as a financial advisor, I was giving out advice that was valuable to others. So when I knew that and I worked really hard on that, this then started to become relatively easy by comparison. And when I look at most salespeople and how they fail or don't get to where they really want to, it's because they're not really analyzing the data in as much possible detail as they can. So I then went about it. Okay, I know I've got to get 4 deals. I know I need 12 prospects. I know I need 6 seconds. So these 12 prospects, as long as I got 12 prospects, I would be okay. Now I knew I would only get, 1 deal per 3 prospects. So if I needed 12 meetings in the diary, I had to multiply that by 3, and I needed 36 referrals per week. And again, when you're focused on your referrals and nothing else, and you become obsessed about that, that's when this kind of thing happens. And for a lot of people in my industry, these numbers were just numbers that weren't achievable. But for me, it was like, I want this really badly. I've got to understand the steps that are involved. I've got to follow the data, my opinion, my interpretation. And salespeople are full of ego and opinions. They think they know everything. All of that was irrelevant. The only thing that was relevant was the data. And so I became, as I said earlier, became obsessed with the data. And so that's the process that I used. And I got to the end of the year, and guess what? Okay, my 12 firsts a week on average were seen. My 4 deals a week on average came in. I did some deals bigger, some deals smaller than that. But at the end of that year, it added up to £1 million. And that's how I made my first $1 million in sales.